Last night, former President Barack Obama was campaigning for Harris in Philadelphia and had yet another condescending message for men daring to vote for Donald Trump.
And I've noticed this especially with some men who seem to think Trump's behavior is somehow a sign of strength. Sort of the macho, fake macho thing. And, I'm here to tell you that's not what real strength is. It never has been. Real strength's about working hard. Real strength's about taking responsibility. Real strength is about telling the truth even when it's inconvenient. Real strength is about being confident enough to treat everybody with dignity and respect. Real strength is about helping people who need it and standing up for those who can't always stand up for themselves.
Joining us now to break down the latest in Pennsylvania is a woman who knows it very well. She knows the politics there perhaps better than anyone. Washington Examiner's national political reporter, Salena Zito. Salena, great to have you back on. So how do you see things right now in Pennsylvania?
Well, thanks for having me on. And I am so glad that you brought up Obama's appearance in Philadelphia. He had an appearance in Pittsburgh just a couple weeks ago with the same sort of condescending tone. And I just think people need to remember something important about my state, in that in 2008, Barack Obama won my state handily. It was almost 11 percentage points. But by 2012, he went from aspirational and hope and change and kept the New Deal coalition as part of his coalition. He shed that coalition for the Ascendant coalition and became very condescending, very mocking, and sort of that same tone that you just heard in that speech. And he left 286,000 voters on the table. They just did not vote for him again in 2012. Didn't vote for Mitt Romney either. They just stayed home. And so I think it's a really big mistake to bring him in to Pennsylvania for the closing, because it's such a negative tone that he is sort of selling for the final message. So I just want to make sure that I said that. But, in the state, we've seen the polls. It's tied. However, I would rather be Donald Trump in these closing days than I would be with Harris. She has struggled in this state. She's not particularly a good fit for this state. And it has showed in the events that she has had, which have been almost all invite only. There's not a real sense of what the enthusiasm is. And the message, has been not one that earns voters' trust, right? The skepticism of her in Pennsylvania is her positions on a number of things. And let's just focus on energy at this moment. Energy in natural gas industry, it employs directly and indirectly a couple 100,000 people. That's a lot of people. And she keeps saying, I changed my mind on fracking. Well, if you changed your mind on fracking, then why have you not gone to President Biden and said, hey, we kind of need to lift this ban we put on liquid natural gas because, it creates instability and uncertainty in the industry. It makes you skeptical as to what you're going to continue to do with the industry. It impacts the workers, but it also impacts farmers. Farmers collect royalties for their leases on their land from gas wells. You're also impacting the farmer community. So it impacts two of our biggest industries in our state, which is agriculture and energy, which are intrinsically related.
What's going on, Salena, with respect to, Pennsylvania last time changed its voting rules to allow all these mail-in balloting, and then they allowed the mail-in ballots to be counted even if they arrived after Election Day, if they were postmarked after Election Day. There was so much stuff about Pennsylvania that still has Trump upset. Has any of that been cured, changed, or just give us a view of the voting setup in Pennsylvania right now?
So I believe that most of it has been cured and settled. That you have to have, in fact, I think there's going to be a Supreme Court ruling today, this afternoon, on that, whether you can accept a ballot that comes in that's not in its security second envelope, that doesn't have a signature and or doesn't have the correct date on it. I think we'll know more about this afternoon, but it seems to tend to be that you got to stick within the rules with everything in this cycle. And Republicans have done an extraordinary job, not just in getting voters who have been reluctant about mail-in balloting to participate, but also the amount of new registered Republicans in my state has been astounding. They're now under 200,000 plus difference between the amount of registered Republicans to registered Democrats. That number used to be 1 million.
That's amazing. Yeah, we had Scott Pressler on the show who was talking about how he and others helped do that. Yes. All that legwork has been going into this race long before November 5th. You were talking about Trump's appeal versus Kamala's appeal to regular Pennsylvanians. It does occur to me that with the suburban women, people, who live kind of where my mother-in-law lives, right outside of Philadelphia, she's doing better. But with the more working class, middle class Pennsylvanians, Trump's got the advantage. And John Fetterman, who's U.S. Senator from the state of Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth, he talked about Trump's strength in your state just the other day, this weekend. Listen to Stop 45.
Everybody thought that Clinton was going to just kill him. And of course, no. And people thought that in 2020, Biden was going to have like five points. And I'm like, no. This isn't going to be a 5-point race here. And it wasn't, and it was incredibly close. And that same thing has been replicated now. And the only thing that's changed is he's more popular even. And hey, you have Elon Musk standing right next to him too. And so I'm not sure what else has changed, except if anything, Trump has become more capable to withstand whatever, whether it was the trials or the assassination or all of those things. But here he is.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really interesting. Back in 2016, John and I had the same conversation. He was the mayor then of Braddock, so not many people paid attention to his insights about the election. But he said the exact same thing to me in an interview in 2016. And he's not wrong. I would argue that Trump's support has grown. It is interesting to me that this election cycle may be decided, and I've written about this, by a cosmetologist, a welder, a fireman, someone with a small HVAC company, right? As opposed to the educated elites in the cities of Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. And I also caution to assume that suburban women are going to vote for Harris when a lot of suburban moms, I've had conversations with them, have really deep concerns about all this sort of gender that you were talking about with Mar, and also biological males participating in their girls' sports. I was the mom of a very good soccer player. And the goal was that, if her talents and her dedication continued, then she would maybe go to college and it would help offset the cost for me as a single mom. And so there was a lot of weekends that I didn't have because it was at a soccer tournament. There was a lot of money that I could have used for something else that went into our equipment or hotels or traveling, whatever it may be. But you talk to soccer moms privately or moms that are of swimmers or whatever the case may be. If they're dedicating all this into their daughter being competitive with other girls and then have to go competitive with a biological male, their worldview is a lot different than people assume it would be, and it would be towards the Democrats.
You know how much my family and I love our dogs, right? I can't imagine life without them. They've got a great life, but some dogs are not so lucky. This is why I'm so glad to tell you about Delta Rescue. This is the largest no-kill, care-for-life animal sanctuary in the world. They've rescued thousands of dogs, plus cats and horses too. And they provide all their animals with shelter, safety, and most of all, love. And they've been doing it now for more than 45 years. Delta Rescue relies solely on contributions to stay open, and giving can bring tax benefits too. Speak with your estate planner about how you can grow your estate while helping animals in need. Check out the estate planning tab on their website to learn more. We love our Thunder and Strudwick, but would love for other dogs who need love and attention and a home to find them too. Visit deltarescue.org today to learn more. That's deltarescue.org. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.